I spent 2 weeks researching the world's most luxurious island destinations. And what I discovered about Bora Bora versus Malaysia completely shattered everything travel influencers have been telling you. One destination costs 17 times more than the other, yet delivers less than half the experience. And no, it's not what you think. Look, I get it. You've seen those overwater bungalows in Bora Bora on every travel Instagram account. The crystal clear turquoise water, the perfect white sand, Mount Otemanu rising dramatically in the background. It's the ultimate bucket list destination, right? Everyone dreams about it. But here's what nobody tells you. You're being sold a fantasy that costs more than most people's cars, and there's an alternative that gives you the same experience, better food, richer culture, and costs less than your monthly rent. I'm going to break down every single aspect of both destinations. The beaches, the water activities, the accommodation, the food, the culture, the actual cost down to the dollar. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly which destination deserves your hard-earned money and precious vacation days. But first, let me tell you about something that happened to a friend of mine that changed how I look at luxury travel forever. She saved for 3 years. 3 full years of skipping brunches, avoiding shopping sprees, living with roommates she didn't particularly like, all for 1 week in Bora Bora. She finally booked it. 8 days, 7 nights, overwater bungalow, the full dream package. Cost her $14,000, not including flights from the U.S. When she came back, I asked her about it, expecting her eyes to light up with joy. Instead, she looked tired. It was beautiful, she said, but I spent the whole week stressed about money. Every meal, every drink, every activity. I couldn't stop calculating costs in my head. I barely left the resort because everything was so expensive. I just sat in my bungalow most of the time. That conversation stuck with me, because luxury shouldn't make you anxious. Paradise shouldn't come with a side of financial stress. So I started digging deeper into alternative destinations that could offer similar experiences without the crushing price tag. And Malaysia kept coming up in my research, specifically the islands off the coast. The more I investigated, the more shocked I became. Let's start with the most important thing, the beaches and water, because that's why you're going to either destination, right? Bora Bora has that iconic lagoon. The water is genuinely stunning, that perfect gradient from pale turquoise to deep sapphire blue. The sand is white and powdery. The coral reefs around the island are decent for snorkeling, though they've experienced significant bleaching in recent years due to warming waters and tourism pressure. You got the barrier reef creating calm lagoon conditions, which makes it perfect for swimming and water sports. No question, it's gorgeous. But here's what surprised me. Malaysia's islands offer equally stunning waters, and in many cases, more diverse marine experiences. Take the Perhentian Islands. The water there is the same brilliant turquoise. The beaches on Long Beach are just as white and pristine. But the coral reefs? They're actually healthier and more vibrant than what you'll find in Bora Bora. You can literally walk into the water with a snorkel and be surrounded by sea turtles, reef sharks, and thousands of tropical fish within 2 minutes. Or consider Redon Island. The marine park there is protected, which means the underwater ecosystem is thriving. The visibility underwater often exceeds 30 meters. You can see giant groupers, barracudas, and if you time it right, even whale sharks pass through the area. A friend of mine went there last year and saw more marine life in 3 days than she'd seen in a full week in the Maldives. Then there's Langkawi, which offers a completely different beach experience. You got dramatic limestone cliffs backing pristine beaches. Tanjung Ru Beach has been rated as one of the most beautiful beaches in Southeast Asia. The water is calm, warm, and that same perfect shade of tropical blue. But unlike Bora Bora, where you're limited to one island, Langkawi is an archipelago of 99 islands. You can island hop, discover hidden beaches, explore sea caves. The variety is incomparable. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Cost. A standard overwater bungalow in Bora Bora runs between $800 to $1,500 per night. That's for a mid-range option. The luxury resorts like Four Seasons or St. Regis. You're looking at $2,000 to $5,000 per night. Per night. And we haven't even talked about food yet. In Malaysia, you can get a beachfront resort room with direct beach access for $60 to $150 per night. We're talking legitimate 4-star and 5-star resorts. Places with infinity pools, spa services, beachfront restaurants, and water sports included. Some of the nicest resorts in Langkawi, like the Darai or the Andaman, run about $200 to $400 per night for absolute luxury that rivals anything Bora Bora offers. Want an overwater bungalow experience in Malaysia? They exist. Mabul Island off the coast of Sabah has overwater accommodations that cost between $150 to $300 per night. You get the same experience. Glass floor panels to watch fish swimming below. Direct water access. Stunning sunrise views over the ocean. Same aesthetic, same luxury feel. Fraction the price. But the cost difference really becomes clear when you factor in food and activities. In Bora Bora, a basic lunch at a resort will cost you $40 to $80 per person. A nice dinner? Easily $150 to $300 for 2 people. And you can't really leave the resort to find cheaper options because there aren't many, and getting around the island is expensive. A bottle of water costs about $7 at most resorts. $7 for water. In Malaysia, food is where things get really interesting. An incredible seafood dinner at a beachfront restaurant costs about $20 to $40 for 2 people. And we're not talking basic food. We're talking fresh grilled fish caught that morning. Prawns the size of your forearm, squid, crab, served with rice and vegetables. At high-end resort restaurants, a full dinner might cost $60 to $80 for 2 people. But here's where Malaysia truly shines. You can venture out from your resort and eat at local restaurants where a full meal costs $3 to $5 per person. Nasi lemak for breakfast, roti canai, fresh tropical fruits. You get to experience real Malaysian cuisine, not just resort food. That variety and cultural immersion is completely absent from the Bora Bora experience. Activities and water sports tell the same story. In Bora Bora, a half-day snorkeling tour costs around $150 per person. A sunset cruise runs about $200 per person. Jet ski rentals cost around $250 for 30 minutes. Scuba diving? $180 to $250 for a single dive. In Malaysia, a full-day island hopping and snorkeling tour costs about $30 to $50 per person, usually including lunch. Scuba diving costs $40 to $70 for a single dive, often less if you book multiple dives. Jet ski rentals run about $30 to $40 for 30 minutes. You can take a sunset cruise for $20 to $30 per person. The price difference is staggering, and experiences are comparable, often better because you're seeing more diverse locations. Let me give you a specific comparison. Imagine a 5-day, 4-night trip for 2 people. In Bora Bora, here's what you're looking at. Overwater bungalow at a mid-range resort for nights, that's $4,000. Food for both people. Assuming 2 meals per day at the resort, about $1,200. A couple of activities. Snorkeling tour and sunset cruise, $600. Miscellaneous costs, drinks, tips, transportation on the island, another $500. Total cost before flights, $6,300. Same trip in Malaysia, let's say Perhentian Islands. Beachfront resort accommodation, for nights, $400. Food for both people. 3 meals per day mixing resort dining and local restaurants, $300. Island hopping tour, snorkeling, scuba diving, and sunset cruise, $250. Miscellaneous costs, drinks, tips, boat transfers, $150. Total cost before flights, $1,100. That's more than 5 times cheaper for a comparable experience. Actually, for an experience that many travelers find more rewarding because of the cultural elements and variety. Now, flights. This is where people assume Bora Bora might catch up. It doesn't. Flights from the U.S. to Bora Bora typically cost $1,500 to $2,500 per person, depending on your departure city and season. That's because you usually have to route through Los Angeles or San Francisco, then to Tahiti, then take another flight to Bora Bora. It's a long journey, often taking 24 hours or more with layovers. Flights from the U.S. to Malaysia, specifically to Kuala Lumpur, cost about $600 to $1,200 per person. From Kuala Lumpur, you can get to most island destinations with either a short domestic flight that costs $50 to $100 or a bus and ferry combination that costs even less. The total travel time is comparable to Bora Bora, sometimes even shorter depending on your connections. So even with flights included, Malaysia remains significantly cheaper. We're talking about a total trip cost of around $8,000 to $10,000 for two people for 5 days in Bora Bora versus $2,500 to $3,500 for Malaysia. That's real money. That's the difference between taking one trip every few years versus traveling multiple times per year. But price isn't everything. Let's talk about the actual experience, the intangibles that make a destination memorable. Bora Bora is undeniably beautiful, but it's very isolated. You're on one small island. Most visitors never leave their resort because there's limited infrastructure outside the resorts. The local culture exists but feels distant from the tourist experience. You're in a bubble, a beautiful, expensive bubble. There's a main road that circles the island, about 20 miles total, with a few small villages, some shops, and a handful of restaurants. You can see the whole island in an afternoon. The activities are mostly water-based because there isn't much else to do. You can visit the lagunarium, take boat tours, go snorkeling or diving, jet ski, paddleboard. That's about it. There are no historical sites, no temples, no markets to explore, no hiking trails of significance. It's pure beach resort vacation, nothing more. Malaysia offers something completely different. First, there's incredible diversity. You're not limited to one type of experience. Want pure beach relaxation? You got that on the Perhentian Islands or Redong. Want luxury and sophistication? Langkawi has world-class resorts and duty-free shopping. Want adventure? Head to Sipadan for some of the best diving in the world, or Tioman Island for jungle hiking and waterfalls. The cultural experience in Malaysia is rich and accessible. You can visit centuries-old temples, explore vibrant markets, try street food that's been perfected over generations, interact with locals who are genuinely friendly and welcoming. The country is a fascinating mix of Malay, Chinese, and Indian influences, which shows up in the architecture, food, festivals, and daily life. On Langkawi, you can take a cable car up to the top of Mount Mat Sinkang and walk across the Sky Bridge, a curved suspension bridge that gives you panoramic views of the entire archipelago. You can explore the ancient geological formations in the UNESCO Global Geopark. Visit the night markets and try dozens of different local dishes for just a few dollars. On Penang, which is close to Langkawi, you can explore Georgetown, a UNESCO World Heritage Site with incredible street art, colonial architecture, and some of the best food in Asia. You can take a day trip there and completely change the pace of your vacation. Even on the smaller islands like Perhentian, you have two main islands to explore with different vibes. Perhentian Kessel is more backpacker-friendly and social, while Perhentian Besar is quieter and more upscale. You can easily visit both. The local communities on these islands are welcoming. You'll find yourself chatting with dive instructors, restaurant owners, and other travelers, creating a social experience that's largely absent from the isolating bubble of Bora Bora resorts. Let's talk about the water activities in more detail, because this is crucial. Both destinations are primarily about the ocean experience. Bora Bora's lagoon is calm and protected, which is great for beginners and families. The snorkeling is decent close to shore, and the tours take you to better spots around the reef. You'll see tropical fish, rays, small sharks. The water is consistently warm and clear. It's a safe, predictable experience. Scuba diving is available but isn't the main draw. The dive sites are okay but not world-class. Malaysia's diving and snorkeling is legitimately world-renowned. Sipadan Island is consistently rated as one of the top 5 dive sites in the world. You'll see massive schools of barracuda, hundreds of sea turtles, reef sharks, and walls that drop thousands of feet into the deep blue. The biodiversity is exceptional. The Perhentian Islands offer some of the most accessible, excellent snorkeling anywhere. You don't need a boat tour. Just walk into the water from certain beaches, and you're immediately in vibrant coral gardens with turtles swimming past you. The visibility is fantastic, often 20 to 30 meters. You can spend hours just floating and watching the underwater world. Red Island's marine park is protected, which means the corals are healthier and the fish populations are abundant. The underwater landscape is dramatic with large coral formations and swim-throughs. It's common to see blacktip reef sharks, giant parrotfish, moray eels, and countless species of smaller tropical fish. For serious divers, Malaysia offers way more variety. You can dive in the Celebesi around Sipadan and Mabul, where you'll encounter pelagic species and incredible macro life. You can dive around Perhentian and Red Islands in the South China Sea. You can dive off Timon Island. Each location offers different underwater topography and marine life. In Bora Bora, you're limited to the one lagoon system. Now let's address what Bora Bora does better, because it's not all one-sided. Bora Bora has mastered the luxury resort experience. The service at the top-tier resorts is impeccable. Everything is designed for effortless relaxation. You want a cocktail? Someone brings it to your overwater bungalow. Want a massage? They'll set up a table on your private deck. The resorts anticipate your needs before you realize them. It's a high-touch, ultra-luxurious service that justifies part of the premium cost. The overwater bungalows in Bora Bora are often more elaborate than Malaysia's versions. Some have glass floor panels, outdoor showers, private infinity pools, direct lagoon access with steps into water, and stunning views of Mount Otemanu. The design and construction quality at the top Bora Bora resorts is exceptional. Bora Bora also has a certain prestige factor. When you tell people you went to Bora Bora, there's an immediate recognition and impression of luxury. It's a status symbol destination. For some people, that matters. It's part of what they're paying for, the ability to say they've been there. The island is also more developed for tourism infrastructure at the luxury level. Everything is polished, refined, and designed specifically for high-end tourists. There's no rough edges, no figuring things out, no adventure required. You show up, everything is handled, and you exist in a perfect luxury bubble for a week. Malaysia, particularly the smaller islands, has more of an adventurous feel. Things are less polished. The resorts are excellent, but they feel more integrated with the natural environment and local culture. You might need to take a long-tail boat to get somewhere. The roads might be basic. Power might occasionally flicker during storms. For some travelers, that's part of the charm and authenticity. For others who want everything perfect and controlled, it might be a drawback. But here's the thing. That slightly rougher edge in Malaysia means you're having a more authentic experience. You're seeing how people actually live, eating food that locals eat, exploring places that feel real rather than manufactured for tourism. And honestly, the level of comfort and luxury available in Malaysia is still very high. We're not talking about roughing it. You can stay in 5-star resorts with every amenity imaginable. Let me talk about food in more depth because this is where Malaysia absolutely dominates. Bora Bora has good food. The resort restaurants serve French Polynesian fusion cuisine, fresh seafood, tropical fruits. It's well prepared and presented beautifully. But it's resort food. It's designed for international tourists who want familiar comfort with a tropical twist. The variety is limited. After 3 days, you've basically tried everything the resort offers. Leaving the resort for food is expensive and options are limited. There are a few roulottes, which are food trucks that serve local food, but they're not always easy to access depending on where you're staying. Malaysia's food scene is absolutely incredible. This is a country where food is a national obsession. You have Malay cuisine with dishes like nasi lemak, rendang, satay, and laksa. You have Chinese Malaysian food with char kway teow, Hainanese chicken rice, and dim sum. You have Indian Malaysian food with roti canai, banana leaf rice, and incredible curries. Then you have Nyonya cuisine, which is a fusion of Chinese and Malay cooking that's completely unique. Even on the smaller islands, the food quality is exceptional. Fresh seafood is everywhere and is prepared in multiple styles. You can have it grilled with sambal, steamed with ginger and soy, cooked in curry, made into tom yam soup. The flavors are bold, complex, and authentic. And the tropical fruits. Oh my goodness, the tropical fruits. Rambutan, mangosteen, durian if you're brave, dragon fruit, star fruit, fresh coconuts everywhere. The fruit in Malaysia is picked ripe and tastes completely different from what you get in Western supermarkets shipped unripe. The coffee culture in Malaysia is also fantastic. You got traditional kopi culture with thick, sweet coffee made with condensed milk. You've got modern cafes with excellent espresso drinks. Even on the islands, you can find great coffee. In Bora Bora, coffee costs $8 to $12 for a basic latte at the resort. Here's a real example of the food difference. A friend of mine spent a week in Langkawi and kept a food diary. Day 1, she had roti canai for breakfast that cost about $2. Incredible flatbread with curry dipping sauce. Lunch was nasi campur at a local place, about $4 for rice with multiple sides of curries and vegetables. Dinner was at a beachfront restaurant. Grilled fish, prawns, squid, vegetables, rice, 2 drinks. About $35 total for her and her partner. Day 2, breakfast at the resort included in her room rate. Lunch was at a hawker center in town. Char kway teow and a fresh coconut, about $5. Dinner was at a nice restaurant. Tried Nyonya cuisine, multiple dishes shared between 2 people, about $50 total. By the end of the week, she'd tried over 30 different Malaysian dishes and spent less on food than one dinner in Bora Bora would have cost. The variety, quality, and value are incomparable. Let's talk about crowds and tourism development. Bora Bora gets about 300,000 visitors per year, which sounds like a lot for such a small island. And it is. The resorts are spread around the lagoon, so it doesn't feel overcrowded if you stay in your resort bubble. But the popular snorkeling spots and the limited number of restaurants outside resorts can get busy. You're also sharing the island with whoever else happens to be there that week. There's no escaping other tourists because there's nowhere else to go. Malaysia's islands offer more flexibility. The Perhentian Islands can get busy during peak season, particularly Perhentian Kessel, but Perhentian Besar remains quieter. And there are so many islands that you can always find less crowded options. Redong has restrictions on visitor numbers to protect the marine park. Tioman is larger and more spread out. Langkawi is big enough that you can easily find quiet beaches even during busy times. The ability to move around in Malaysia means you're never stuck in one spot. Don't like the vibe where you are? Take a ferry to another island. Want a complete change of pace? Head to Penang or Kuala Lumpur for a few days. That flexibility is valuable. Weather is another consideration. Bora Bora has a wet season from November to April and a dry season from May to October. The dry season is obviously more expensive and more crowded. The wet season means you're likely to experience significant rain and potentially storms during your trip. Malaysia's weather is more complex because different regions have different patterns. The East Coast islands like Perhentian and Redong are closed from November to February due to monsoon season. But that's when the West Coast, including Langkawi, has perfect weather. So you can visit Malaysia year-round. You just need to choose the right region based on timing. This actually gives you more flexibility for trip planning. Let's talk about accessibility and ease of travel. Bora Bora requires significant planning. You need to coordinate multiple flights. The timing is tight, and delays can cascade. The final flight from Tahiti to Bora Bora is on small planes that don't run that frequently. If you miss a connection, you might be stuck for a day. Once you're on the island, getting around requires arranging boat transfers or renting a car, which is expensive. Malaysia is much more straightforward. Kuala Lumpur is a major international hub with excellent connections. The airport is modern and efficient. From there, domestic flights to island destinations are frequent and cheap. The bus and ferry systems are well organized. Yes, getting to some of the more remote islands requires multiple steps, but it's all straightforward and affordable. And if something goes wrong, there are multiple options to get where you need to go. The language barrier is also minimal in Malaysia. English is widely spoken, especially in tourist areas. Signs are often in English. Menus have English translations. You can get by very easily. In Bora Bora, French is the primary language. English is spoken at the resorts, but outside of them, communication can be more challenging. Now let's address the big question. Who should actually choose Bora Bora over Malaysia? Bora Bora makes sense for very specific travelers. If money is absolutely no object, and you want that specific overwater bungalow experience with Mount Otemanu in the background that you've seen in photos, and the prestige of saying you've been to Bora Bora matters to you, then go for it. It's beautiful, it's exclusive, and it delivers on that specific fantasy. If you're celebrating a major milestone, like a significant anniversary or honeymoon, and you've dreamed about Bora Bora specifically for years, then the emotional value might justify the cost for you personally. Travel isn't always about the best value proposition. Sometimes it's about fulfilling a specific dream. If you want absolute top-tier luxury service where every single detail is perfect and you never have to think about anything, Bora Bora's best resorts deliver that better than almost anywhere else in the world. The Four Seasons Bora Bora or St. Regis Bora Bora offers service levels that are genuinely exceptional. But for most travelers, Malaysia offers better value, more variety, richer cultural experiences, better food, and comparable natural beauty for a fraction of the cost. You could take 5 trips to Malaysia for the price of 1 trip to Bora Bora. Think about that. 5 completely different experiences versus 1. You could spend a week on the Perhentian Islands diving and snorkeling. Then later visit Langkawi for luxury resort relaxation. Then explore Penang for food and culture. Then head to Sipatan for world-class diving. Then visit the Sabah region to see orangutans and explore rainforests. Each trip would offer completely different experiences, and combined they'd still cost less than a single Bora Bora vacation. Here's what really matters. Both destinations are beautiful. Both can give you an incredible tropical vacation. But Malaysia gives you more freedom, more authenticity, more variety, and more value. You're not stressed about money. You can actually experience the culture. You can try amazing food. You can have adventures beyond just sitting on a beach or in your room. The overwater bungalow aesthetic is lovely, but is it worth spending an extra $6,000 to $8,000 just for that specific type of accommodation? When you could have equally beautiful beachfront villas, incredible experiences, and money left over for another trip? For most people, the answer is no. Travel is about experiences and memories. The most memorable trips aren't usually the ones where you spent the most money. They're the ones where you connected with a place, tried new things, met interesting people, challenged yourself a little bit, and came home with stories. Malaysia offers all of that. Bora Bora offers beautiful isolation and luxury, which is valuable, but it's not as rich or rewarding for most travelers. I'm not saying Bora Bora isn't worth visiting. It absolutely is if you have the budget and it's been a lifelong dream. But I am saying that if you're deciding between the 2 destinations and value matters at all, Malaysia is the smarter choice 9 times out of 10. You'll get just as much beauty, way more culture, better food, more activities, more flexibility, and you'll save enough money to take multiple additional trips. The travel industry sells us these aspirational destinations and makes us feel like we need to visit them to have achieved something. Bora Bora has become one of those symbols. But the reality is that the world is full of incredibly beautiful places that offer just as much, if not more, for far less money. Malaysia is one of them. If you've been saving up for Bora Bora, I'd encourage you to seriously consider using that money for Malaysia instead. Take a longer trip. Stay at nicer resorts. Do more activities. Eat at better restaurants. Bring your friends or family. Or better yet, take multiple trips to different parts of Malaysia and Southeast Asia and have a year full of incredible experiences instead of one expensive week that you'll spend half of worry about costs. The point of traveling isn't to check off bucket list destinations or post Instagram photos that impress people. It's to experience the world, learn about different cultures, challenge your perspectives, and create meaningful memories. Malaysia delivers all of that in abundance, while Bora Bora delivers primarily beautiful scenery and luxury service at a premium price. Make the choice that gives you the most fulfilling experience, not the one that sounds most impressive. Your future self will thank you when you're planning your 3rd or 4th amazing trip, instead of still saving up for your next big vacation. The world is too interesting and too diverse to limit yourself to the most expensive options just because they're well marketed. Go where you'll have the best experience, not where the tourism industry tells you that you should go.